God remembered me. I need to say that slowly and let it land in the deepest part of my spirit before I go any further. God remembered me. Not someone more deserving. Not someone with a cleaner record or a stronger faith or a longer history of faithfulness. Me. With all of my detours and my doubts and my long stretches of wondering whether any of this was real, God remembered me. And because God remembered me, my time has come. And because my time has come, nothing, not one single force in heaven or on earth or beneath the earth, nothing can stop what has already been set in motion on my behalf. My time has come. I receive that truth now with everything I have. My time has come. There is a story in the ancient record about a woman named Hannah, and for years, Hannah wept. For years, Hannah went to the house of God and prayed the same prayer, and returned home without the answer, and prayed again the following year, and returned again without the answer. And the scripture says something that I want to hold very carefully today. It says that at a certain moment, God remembered Hannah. As though there was a day, a specific day, that arrived in the divine calendar when the fullness of the appointed time had come and the prayer that had been held in holy trust was released. God remembered Hannah. And in the year that God remembered her, everything changed. I am Hannah today. I am the one who has prayed and waited and prayed again. I am the one who has carried my petition to the throne of God more times than I can count and returned home without the visible answer more times than I wanted to. And today, on this day, in this season, God has remembered me, and everything is about to change. I want to speak honestly about what the waiting has felt like, because I think that honesty is part of what makes this declaration so powerful. The waiting has not always been easy to carry. There have been seasons when the faith felt thin, and the distance between what I was believing for and what I was experiencing felt so vast that I could barely see across it. There have been mornings when I woke up, and the first thought that came was another day of the same. There have been moments of watching others receive what I had been praying for, and feeling the complicated mixture of genuine joy for them and private grief for myself. I do not want to pretend those moments were not real. I do not want to airbrush the difficulty out of the testimony. The difficulty was real. The waiting was real. The moments of doubt were real. And the God who was faithful through every single one of those moments was also real. More real than any of the difficulty, more present than any of the doubt. Holding the promise in holy trust through every moment, I almost let go of it. God was faithful through all of it, and God has remembered me. My time has come. I want to explore what that phrase truly means, because I think it is one of the most important declarations I can speak over my own life right now. My time has come does not mean I was forgotten, and now I am finally noticed. It means I was always seen and always known and always loved, and the timing of what God was preparing for me required exactly the season of formation that the waiting produced. My time has come means the preparation is complete. My time has come means the soil of my spirit is ready for the seed of the blessing. My time has come means the character that was being formed through difficulty has reached the maturity required to carry what is coming without being destroyed by it or defined by it in the wrong way. My time has come means God looked at the fullness of everything He has been doing in me and through me and around me through this entire season and said, "Now, the moment is now. Release it now." My time has come, and I will never speak of that time as wasted again. Nothing can stop what is coming. I want to declare this with a particular kind of settled boldness that comes not from arrogance but from understanding. Nothing can stop what God has set in motion. Not my past, not my mistakes, not the people who doubted me or overlooked me or said things that were designed to diminish the vision God placed in my heart. Not the enemy of my destiny who worked overtime to delay what could not ultimately be denied. Not the economy, not my own moments of wavering faith, not the years that felt like they were running out. None of it. Nothing. Because what God decrees, no force can permanently obstruct. What God purposes, no circumstance can finally prevent. What God remembered cannot be taken back. The decree has gone out of the throne room of heaven over my life, and it says now. It says your time has come. It says nothing can stop it. And I align myself with that decree today, completely and without reservation. I speak now to the years that felt like they were being wasted. The years I spent in a place that seemed too small for the vision I was carrying. The years I spent waiting in a season that seemed to have no movement, no progress, no visible sign that anything was shifting in the direction of what I had believed for and declared over and invested my faith in. Those years were not wasted. I need to say that clearly, because one of the cruelest lies the long wait produces is the belief that the waiting was a waste, that I have lost ground, that others have moved forward while I stood still, that the delay has cost me something I cannot recover. That is not true. Not one day was wasted. Not one prayer was lost. Not one tear fell to the ground unnoticed. Everything that happened in the waiting season was necessary formation. Everything that occurred in the years of the patient holding on was building the exact specific version of me that my breakthrough requires. I am not behind. I am not late. I am exactly on time, according to the divine calendar that governs my specific life and my specific calling. My time has come, and nothing that happened in the years of waiting diminished it. God remembered me. And I want to speak about what it feels like to be remembered by God, because it is one of the most tender and profound experiences a human spirit can have. Being remembered by God is not like being remembered by a person who occasionally thinks of you when something reminds them of your existence. Being remembered by God is an active, intentional, purposeful turning of divine attention toward your specific situation with the full authority and the full resources and the full love of the one who holds everything in his hands. When God remembers you, he does not simply think of you fondly. He moves, he acts, he releases, he opens, he arranges, he accelerates, he positions. He causes all things that were being prepared to converge at the point of divine appointment. Being remembered by God means the season of visible inactivity is over, and the season of undeniable movement has begun. God has remembered me. The movement has begun. I will see it with my own eyes. I declare now that my time has come in the area of my finances. Specifically and without vagueness, my financial time has come. The season of financial difficulty, of counting carefully, of calculating anxiously, of lying awake, adding numbers that did not add up to enough, of watching resources leave faster than they arrived and wondering when the tide would turn. That season is ending. Its time is complete. Because God has remembered me, and when God remembers a person, their financial situation cannot remain unchanged. The resources that belong to my season are being released now. The provision that was held in divine trust through the years of waiting is being poured out now. The financial breakthrough that I have prayed over and declared over and wept over and almost stopped believing for is arriving now. Not eventually, not someday, now. My financial time has come. I declare that my time has come in the area of my purpose, the calling that has lived in my spirit since before I could articulate it in words. The sense of something I was made for that has been pressing against the inside of my life, even in the seasons when the outside offered no room for it to breathe. The gift that was given to me not for my own pleasure, but for the benefit of everyone it was meant to reach. That purpose, that calling, that gift, is being activated now at a level I have not yet experienced. Doors that were closed to it are opening. People who need what I carry are being positioned in my path. The platform, the reach, the influence, the impact that belongs to this season of my calling is being released now because God has remembered me, and my time has come in every area, including the purpose for which I was placed on this earth. I speak now to every person who has felt forgotten. Every person who has watched life seem to move and shift and open for everyone around them, while their own situation remained stubbornly the same. Every person who has smiled at other people's good news while quietly carrying the weight of their own unanswered prayer. Every person who has lain awake in the dark wondering whether God truly sees them, truly knows their specific pain, truly has a plan for their specific life, or whether the promises are real for others, but somehow not for them. I speak to that person now from the very center of compassion, because I have been that person. I know that place, and I want to say with everything I have, God sees you. God knows your name. God knows the specific prayer you have been carrying, and the specific dream you have been afraid to let go of, and the specific need that has pressed against your heart in every quiet moment. You have not been forgotten. You have been held, and your time is coming. Do not let go. Do not put down what you have been carrying. The remembering is close, the turning is near. Hold on one more day. There is something happening in the invisible right now that I cannot see with my natural eyes, but that I know is absolutely real. There is a convergence of prepared things. There are doors that have been unlocked and are about to swing open. There are resources that have been positioned and are about to flow. There are connections that have been arranged and are about to manifest. There are opportunities that have been prepared and are about to appear. There is a divine orchestration happening in the spiritual realm around my specific life right now that is more intricate and more precise and more perfectly timed than anything I could have arranged through my own effort and strategy. The invisible is about to become visible. The spiritual is about to become physical. The prepared is about to become present. And when it comes, when it arrives in my life, in the specific and undeniable ways that only God could arrange, I will understand with complete clarity why it had to come exactly now and not a moment sooner. I want to speak about what it means to receive the remembering. Because being remembered by God is not a passive experience that simply happens to me while I stand unchanged. Receiving the remembering of God requires something of me. It requires me to update my posture, to stop living from the old story of the forgotten and start living from the new story of the remembered. It requires me to speak from the new reality rather than from the old experience. To stop saying things like, "Why has this taken so long?" and start saying things like, "My time has come and nothing can stop it." It requires me to take steps of faith that correspond to the breakthrough I am declaring, to make room for what is coming, to prepare for the provision, to act like someone whose time has come, rather than someone who is still waiting to find out whether it will. I update my posture now. I speak from the new reality. I take the steps of faith. I make the room. I act from the truth that my time has come. And I watch the visible world catch up to the spiritual reality I am living from. My time has come, and the testimony that is forming in my life right now is going to reach people I have never met. People in countries I have never visited. People in circumstances that mirror what I have walked through who will hear what God did in my situation and find in it the courage to hold on one more day in their own. That is part of why the timing matters. That is part of why the formation of the waiting season was necessary. The testimony has to be specific enough and real enough and costly enough to reach the people it was designed to reach. A testimony of easy abundance reaches a different person than a testimony of long-held faith finally rewarded. The testimony being formed in my life is the second kind. It was formed through real waiting and real doubt and real holding on. And when it is fully told, it will carry a weight and a credibility that only comes from having truly lived it. My testimony is being completed now. My time has come. And the telling of what God has done will be one of the most significant contributions of my life. I now receive with both hands everything that the remembering of God releases into my life. The financial provision, received. The open doors of opportunity, received. The restored relationships, received. The advancement of my purpose and calling, received. The specific answers to the specific prayers I have been carrying through the long season of waiting, received. The overflow that makes giving natural and easy and joyful, received. The peace that has been absent in too many of my nights because of financial anxiety and uncertainty, received. The dignity of abundance after the humbling of lack, received. The rest of one who knows their provision is secured by a source that never runs dry, received. All of it. Every dimension of what God has prepared for this season of my life, I receive it all with open hands and a full heart and the tears of one who waited long enough to understand, with complete clarity, that what God does is worth every single day of the waiting. I give thanks now from the place of one who has been remembered. The gratitude I feel is not the polite surface gratitude of one who received something pleasant. It is the deep, trembling, cannot find adequate words. Gratitude of one who was held through difficulty and loved through doubt and never truly abandoned, though it felt that way in moments. and has now come to the moment of the remembering, and stands in it overwhelmed by the faithfulness of a God who never once let go. I give thanks for the waiting, because the waiting made me. I give thanks for the difficulty, because the difficulty formed me. I give thanks for every moment I almost gave up, because I did not give up, and that holding on is part of the story. I give thanks for this moment of declaration, because it is the moment of receiving. And I give thanks for what is coming because it is coming. It is already in motion. It is already decided. God has remembered me, and my time has come, and nothing can stop it. God remembered me. My time has come. Nothing can stop it. I seal this declaration now with the full force of a faith that has been tested and has held. I seal it with gratitude that is too deep for casual words. I seal it with the quiet, steady, unshakable peace of one who finally knows, beyond all doubt, that they are seen and loved and held and remembered by the God who holds everything in his hands. My time has come. It is here. I walk into it now, one faithful step at a time, one grateful declaration at a time, one act of trust at a time, into the fullness of everything God prepared for me before I was born, and has been holding in divine trust through every season that led to this moment. My time has come, and so it is, and so it is, and so it is. I want to linger for a moment in the specific ways that being remembered by God feels different from being remembered by a person. When a person remembers you after a long time, it often comes with a slight awkwardness, a sense that something was missed, a subtle awareness that the connection was thinner during the absence. But when God remembers you, there is no awkwardness. There is no sense that the connection grew thin, because God's remembering is not the restoration of an interrupted relationship. It is the activation of a prepared moment. The connection never broke. The love never wavered. The plan never changed. What changes when God remembers you is not the quality of the relationship, but the timing of the release. The things that were prepared in the invisible are now being released into the visible. The answers that were held in divine trust are now being delivered to the door of your specific life. God remembered me means my door is being knocked on from the inside of heaven. The blessing is pressing through. The provision is arriving. The moment has come. I now speak to the fear that has accompanied the long season of waiting, the fear that time was running out, the fear that the window of opportunity was narrowing with every passing year, the fear that other people's timelines were proof that my own was off or broken or somehow disqualified by factors I could not identify or correct. I speak to that fear now, and I release it completely. God does not operate on a timeline defined by human expectation. God does not look at my age or my circumstances or the number of years that have passed since the promise was first planted in my heart and recalculate whether the promise is still viable. The promise is as alive today as it was the moment it was first spoken into my spirit. The seed of what God declared over my life does not have an expiration date. It does not diminish with the passing of years. If anything, it has been growing underground in ways I could not see, putting down roots so deep that when the moment of breakthrough comes, the growth that emerges from the ground will be stronger and more stable and more fruitful than any early season growth could have been. My time has not passed. My time has come. There is a profound difference between those two statements, and I choose to live from the second one, from this day forward. I speak to every dream that I quietly filed away in the folder of things that probably will not happen now. Every vision that felt too large for the season I was in. Every hope that had a date attached to it in my mind, and that date came and went, without the fulfillment, and I moved the hope to a less prominent shelf in my spirit. I go to that shelf now, and I take every one of those things back down. I hold them in my hands. I blow the dust of delay off them. And I look at them clearly in the light of what I now know. God remembered me. My time has come. These dreams are not expired. These visions are not too large for the God who placed them in me. These hopes are not displaced by the dates that came and went without their fulfillment. They are more real now than they were then, because I am more ready now to receive them than I was then. The readiness required the wait, and the readiness is now complete. I pick up every dream. I restore every vision. I reclaim every hope. And I carry them now, not with the fragile tentativeness of one who is afraid to hope again, but with the settled confidence of one who knows their time has come. There are people in my life right now who do not know what God is about to do in my situation. People who have watched the long season and formed certain conclusions about the trajectory of my life. Not necessarily with bad intentions, simply with human eyes that can only see what is visible and human minds that draw the natural conclusion from what they observe. And the natural conclusion from a long season of apparent stagnation is that this is simply how things are for this person. I hold no bitterness toward anyone who has drawn that conclusion. I understand it completely. I might have drawn the same conclusion myself if I were observing from the outside. But I want to make a declaration now about what those people are about to witness. They are about to watch God turn a situation around so completely and so specifically that their conclusions will need to be entirely revised. What they thought was finished is being commissioned. What they thought had been overlooked is being advanced. What they thought was a story of limitation is becoming a story of divine abundance that they will be privileged to witness firsthand. My time has come, and the witnesses are already in position. They just do not know yet what they are about to see. I declare that every prayer I have prayed over my finances, my family, my future, my purpose, my health, my relationships, during the long season of waiting, was heard. Every single one. Not one breath of faith that I exhaled in the direction of heaven went unnoticed or unrecorded or uncounted. The prayers are a record. They are held in the custody of divine faithfulness. And they are being answered now in the season of my remembering, answered in the fullness of what was asked and in the generosity of what was prepared beyond what was asked. I will see the answers and I will recognize them as the specific responses to the specific prayers I prayed. I will look at what arrives and say that is exactly what I asked for, and that is what I did not even know to ask for, that God prepared anyway. The answers are arriving. The prayers are being fulfilled. My time has come. I make a declaration now about the atmosphere of my daily life from this point forward. The atmosphere I carry will be the atmosphere of one who has been remembered by God. Not arrogant, not performing abundance for an audience, but genuinely, quietly, inwardly changed. The way I wake up in the morning will change. Instead of the low dread of another day of the same, I will wake into the expectation of one more day of evidence that God is faithful, and that the breakthrough is real, and that the time has come. The way I speak about my situation will change. Instead of rehearsing the difficulties and the delays and the length of the waiting, I will rehearse the evidence of the remembering, the small signs, the unexpected encouragements, the moments where something shifted in a way I could not explain naturally. The way I pray will change. Instead of desperate petition from one who is unsure whether they are heard, I will pray from the settled knowing of one who is remembered, who is seen, who is loved, and whose time has already come. The atmosphere changes. It changes now. And as the atmosphere changes, the circumstances follow. They always do. Nothing can stop what God has set in motion. I want to close by returning to this truth one final time because it is the truth that holds everything else together. Nothing can stop it. Not the voice of the one who says you have waited too long. Not the memory of every time you almost gave up. Not the financial situation that has not yet fully reflected the breakthrough being declared. Not the relationships that are still healing. Not the purpose that has not yet found its full expression. Not any human opinion, or earthly circumstance, or natural limitation. Nothing. The God who remembered Hannah gave her a son who became a prophet who changed the spiritual history of a nation. The God who remembered Joseph released him from a prison in a single day and elevated him to a throne that changed the history of a region. The God who remembered Moses sent him back to the place of his greatest failure as the deliverer of an entire people. When God remembers someone, the scope of what follows is always greater than anything natural reasoning would predict. I do not know the full scope of what God is releasing into my life in this season of my remembering. but I know the God who is releasing it, and that is enough. My time has come. Nothing can stop it. God remembered me, and so it is, and so it is, and so it is. I want to speak now about the specific quality of peace that comes when a person truly knows their time has come. It is different from the brittle optimism of one who is forcing themselves to stay positive. It is different from the anxious hope of one who is not quite sure but is trying to believe anyway. The peace that comes from knowing your time has come is a resting peace. A peace that does not require the circumstances to be perfect before it settles. A peace that can coexist with things that have not yet fully changed, because it is rooted not in the circumstances, but in the knowledge of who God is and what God has declared. That peace is mine today. I feel it even now as I speak these words. The settling of something in my spirit that has been unsettled for too long. The dropping of a weight I was never meant to carry permanently. The quiet opening of my hands from the tight grip of anxious control into the open palms of one who trusts completely. My time has come, and I am at peace about it. Not performing peace, not manufacturing peace. Genuinely, deeply, restingly at peace. Because God remembered me, and peace is what follows. I speak now about gratitude as a way of life, and not only as a response to answered prayer. Because one of the most powerful shifts I can make coming out of the waiting season into the season of my remembering is to become a person who gives thanks continuously. Not only when things go well, not only when the breakthrough is visible and the evidence is in my hands, but always, in the morning before anything has happened yet, in the ordinary moments of unremarkable days, in the waiting rooms of divine timing where nothing seems to be moving but the preparation is happening beneath the surface, in the middle of difficulty that has not yet resolved, thanksgiving continuously. Because thanksgiving is not a reaction to circumstances. It is a decision about who I am and what I believe. And what I believe is this: God is faithful. God is good. God has remembered me. My time has come. Nothing can stop it. And for all of that, in all seasons, and through all circumstances, I am grateful. Deeply, genuinely, sustainably grateful. Gratitude is my new resting state. It is the atmosphere I carry. It is the ground I stand on. And it is the most powerful declaration I can make about the kind of faith I have chosen to live from this day forward. I want to say one more thing to the person who is not sure they have been remembered. Who is reading or hearing this and feeling something stir in their spirit that they are afraid to name too clearly in case it turns out to be wrong? I want to speak to the tenderness of that half-hope, that almost believing, that careful not quite yet daring to receive. I want to say to you gently but clearly, what you are feeling right now is not wishful thinking. It is faith rising. It is the Spirit bearing witness to a truth that your circumstances have not yet confirmed, but that is no less true for the lack of confirmation. You are remembered. Your time is coming. Do not smother what is rising in you right now with the wet blanket of your history of disappointment. Let it rise. Let it grow. Let it become a full and rooted declaration even before the evidence is in your hands. The evidence is coming. The evidence is already moving toward you in the invisible. And what you feel right now in your spirit is the advance awareness of what is already real. Honor it. Speak it. Give thanks for it. God remembered you. Your time has come. Nothing can stop it. I close now with the simplest and truest words I know. God is faithful. Those 3 words contain every theology I need about the season I have walked through and the season I am now entering. God is faithful in the waiting. God is faithful in the remembering. God is faithful in the releasing of what was prepared. God is faithful in the forming of what the waiting required. God is faithful in the testimony that the breakthrough produces. God is faithful in the lives that the testimony reaches. God is faithful when I feel it and when I do not. God is faithful when the circumstances confirm it and when they seem to contradict it. God is faithful always, completely, unwaveringly, without exception. I build my life on that faithfulness. I stake my declaration on it. I rest my peace in it. God is faithful. God remembered me. My time has come. Nothing can stop it. And I walk forward into everything that has been prepared for me from the very beginning, grateful and at peace, and full of the expectation of one whose God has never once failed and is not about to start now. And so it is. And so it is. And so it is. I want to speak to the practical side of walking in the truth that my time has come. Because declaration without corresponding action is incomplete faith. And so, I make some specific, practical declarations now about how the remembering of God will show up in the daily choices I make from this point forward. I declare that I will speak about my situation from the new story and not the old one. When someone asks how things are going, I will not give them the long rehearsal of the waiting season. I will speak from where I am going, from what God is doing, from the breakthrough that is in motion, not denying difficulty, not pretending challenges do not exist, but choosing to narrate my life from the reality of divine remembering, rather than from the appearance of natural limitation. I declare that I will take the next step that wisdom reveals to me even when I cannot see the step after that. Faith is a walk, and walks happen one step at a time. I take the step that is in front of me today, with the trust that the next one will become visible when I arrive at the place where I can see it. I declare that I will give even when the giving feels significant relative to what I currently have. Because giving from the consciousness of one whose time has come is a completely different act than giving from the consciousness of scarcity. One is a declaration of faith, the other is a management of fear. I give from faith now, generously, joyfully, in the confident expectation of return, because my time has come and the season of overflow has begun. I speak now to the specific financial numbers in my life, the account balances, the outstanding bills, the debt that has been a fixture of my financial landscape for too long, the income that has felt insufficient for the life I am responsible for. I speak to all of these numbers now, not with fear and not with avoidance, but with the calm authority of one whose time has come. These numbers are not my permanent reality. They are the current snapshot of a situation that is actively and irrevocably changing. The account balances are rising. The bills are being covered. The debt is being dismantled piece by piece through divine provision and divine wisdom and divine favor with creditors and divine acceleration of income. The income that has felt insufficient is becoming sufficient, and then more than sufficient, and then genuinely overflowing. I do not say this to deny where I am right now. I say it to declare where I am going. And where I am going is decided not by the current numbers, but by the divine decree that has been spoken over my financial life. God remembered me. My financial time has come. The numbers are catching up to the decree. I declare that people who have the resources I need are being drawn into my sphere right now. I do not need to manufacture these connections. I do not need to network frantically or position myself strategically or impress the right people with carefully curated versions of myself. The God who remembered me is also the God who arranges meetings, who positions the right person in the right room at the right moment, who orchestrates conversations that appear accidental but are divinely intentional, who causes the right opportunity to land in front of me at exactly the moment I am prepared to receive it. I am open to every connection God arranges. I am attentive to every conversation that might carry more than it appears to carry on the surface. I am expectant about every new person who enters my life in this season because any one of them might be the specific instrument of the specific provision that belongs to the specific moment of my remembering. I am awake to divine arrangements. I am available to divine appointments. My time has come, and the people who belong to it are finding me now. The declaration I make today is not a one-time event. It is the beginning of a new way of living. From this day forward, I am a person who knows they are remembered by God. That knowledge does not live only in the prayer closet or in the moments of spiritual intensity. It lives with me in the ordinary moments. In the grocery store and the workplace, and the family dinner, and the quiet evenings, and the early mornings, before anything has happened yet. I carry the knowledge of my divine remembering with me everywhere I go. It informs how I see myself, It informs how I speak about myself. It informs the decisions I make, and the risks I take, and the generosity I practice, and the faith I speak, and the gratitude I maintain. I am a remembered person, a person whose time has come, a person over whose life nothing can stop what has been set in motion by the hand of the God who never forgets, and never fails, and never runs out, and never changes his mind about the ones he loves. That is me. I am that person. And I will live from that truth every single day from this moment forward until the testimony is so complete and so specific and so undeniably the work of God that I will spend the rest of my life telling it to anyone who will listen. God remembered me. My time has come. Nothing can stop it. And so it is. And so it is. And so it is.